Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. Now, this is going to be one of my shorter videos in the lead up to Christmas. Now, the problem that I'm going to face with doing them like this, instead of doing my hour-long, everything I do in a kitchen in a few days kind of videos, is that I will have to film multiple videos each day. Which means that I will flick between tasks and then have to figure out how to edit it appropriately to make sure that each one is a standalone video. This is something that I should be better at and is something that is beneficial for me to learn the skills of, but not something that I have done a whole lot so far. So you'll have to bear with me, especially in the beginning. I could do the whole change clothes for each style of it. I'm not going to. You should all know me well enough now that that's not how it's going to work. I am just going to record accordingly so that each set of items is a potential for a standalone video, and then we will see and assess as we go. So today, one of the other tasks that I need to get done is I need to make some more chili oil, and because I've shown bits and pieces of that but I haven't shown it in depth, I thought I would show it in depth and we will see how we go. I did think about turning it into a short rather than a long form video because I'm not sure that there is enough content for a long form video, but we will see, and I will do what I do. There is one other thing that I'm going to make today as well, which I will film. So there will be 3 different intros and videos running in the same day, and we will see how I manage that. But the goal is to film a few days a week of these things that I'm prepping for Christmas and baking like most mornings with the kids and stuff, and turn them into enough videos for daily-ish videos if that's what I can do. We shall see. So, chili oil. Now, we use chili oil in a lot of things, and there is a lot of variations of chili oils. There's so many different variations of the way people make it and the different regions that they make it in and all the rest of it. Now, mine is probably quite bastardized because, well, I'm Australian for a start, but also we do it to taste and to texture and to storage purposes. So I have been buying 750ml bottles of peanut oil, whatever is cheapest, Coles this particular occasion, and I heat this entire 750ml up. So I am doing batches of 750ml of oil at a time. It will end up filling 2 quart jars, and those 2 quart jars will last us around about a week. The kids have a huge fondness for ramen, so they use it on the ramen. And that's something that I might do at the end of the video, is I might make the ramen up the way that we like to make it with the chili oil, to show you how we use it. But Darryl uses it on nearly everything. So if he's having steak, he sprinkles it on steak. If he's having eggs, he puts it on eggs. So like the texture of it is amazing because we make it really textured, and that's a part of how I do it, how I prefer it to be, is heavy on the texture with the oil as well. So we will go through how we prefer to make it. So I've put the 750ml of peanut oil is in a pot. I'm going to bring it up to 175 Celsius or 350-ish Fahrenheit, because that is what we pour over everything else to cook it all. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to get that on the stove, and I'm going to find my thermometer, and we will start there. All right, so we've hit a slight snag with the chili oil. I am completely out of sesame seeds. I actually do recall that last time I made bagels that I realized I was out of them, and yeah, so completely out, which is not really surprising because we've been using a lot of this chili oil. I also only have the half peanuts, not the pieces, which is, again, it's fine, but we prefer them cut up a little bit more. But I don't really want to run them through the food processor or the Thermomix because I don't want them to end up too small. So we're going to run with what we've got, and that's the whole thing about this chili oil. It's versatile. You can use whatever flavors you want. So we start off with 500 grams of peanuts because that is how we like to do it. So we've got 500 grams of peanuts. All right, the rest of those will go back into the freezer for another use. There's a couple of recipes that I needed peanuts for as well, so I need to make sure to pick up some extras as well because that's all I've got left in the freezer. So we got 500 grams. Now, normally I would put around about 250 grams of sesame seeds in here at this point. I do not have sesame seeds. I do have black sesame seeds or Nigella seeds, which I can use though. I bought these to use in everything bagel seasoning, except I don't have any white sesame seeds either. So the bagels that I might do next will probably have poppy seeds on them. So I'm going to add, what have we got here? 65 grams of those black Nigella seeds. Now I am going to add some poppy seeds as well because all of this is about the crunch and the nuttiness. Black Nigella seeds have a slightly different flavor to white black sesame seeds or nigella seeds have a slightly different flavour to white sesame seeds, but it's not that far off. They're both sort of nutty and earthy. And actually I mostly buy the black ones just because it looks really nice in everything bagel. Poppy seeds, again, similar sort of a thing. They have that nutty sort of earthy flavour. It's really pleasant, and we've got some crunch, and they will work well as an add-in. Now ignore the jar. The jar says chia seeds, but the label inside the jar says poppy seeds. A little bit confusing, that one. So I'm going to take this up to, it was around about 100 grams of those. We're going to add some chili flakes, which we have found around about 15 to 20 grams works for us in this quantity. Yeah, it's 20 grams of chili flakes. We are going to add some soy sauce, about a tablespoon, so about the 15 grams of that. Actually, we might double that one. We might go the 30 grams of that one. 2 tablespoons worth. We will do about a tablespoon of black vinegar. We're going to add a pinch of salt, not too much because we've got salt in the soy sauce as well, and a couple of pinches of black pepper. I did buy some Szechuan peppercorns to try in this. Actually, I haven't tried it yet. I will have to do that at some point. We're also going to add a little bit of the Knorr chicken bouillon, and most of these I said are optional, but that Knorr chicken bouillon will give it a bit of an MSG. It's got MSG in it, so it's got a bit of that umami, heavier sort of undertone flavors. We would like to add some garlic to it too. I have been avoiding using fresh garlic though, because the children aren't real great about putting this away. So depending how you use this depends on what you're going to add too. Like I'm adding about a dessert spoon of the Knorr chicken bouillon. But if you were only using this for ramen, you probably wouldn't need to, because we tend to add some ramen seasoning when we're making ramen. But Darryl uses this for so many other things that it becomes, you know, it needs those extra flavors. I've got some fried garlic. I'm adding that because I don't want to add fresh garlic, as I said, because the kids can be a bit slack on storing it appropriately. So we've done that. Now we're just going to add the oil to it, and that's it. So we've got the bowl of all the pieces in there. We've got the oil nice and hot, and we're going to pour it in. It's going to bubble and cook that as it goes. And then we're just going to give it a stir. Let that hot oil cook everything that's in there. Just like that. And now we will let it sit for 15-20 minutes. And then we will come back to it to decant it. And I'll show you how I make the ramen with it. So it's got lots of the big chunks through it, but it's also got that oil quantity as well, so that when it's in the jar, the oil will still cover all the solids. And then we store this in the fridge. So that one's done. We're going to put this aside, and I'll bring you back to it. All right, so we're going to decant our chili oil. 2 quart jars is generally around about what it fills. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. What we're going to do is we're going to take some liquid off the top of both. All right. Then I am going to grab measuring cup, and I might grab a funnel, and we're just going to put the solids in evenly as well. And then we will mix up a quick jar of the ramen seasoning as well. Seeing as I'm going to make a bowl to show it off, I may as well do the whole hog. Alright, so we've got the 2 jars of chili oil there. I will get some lids for those. That is done. Now we will do the the ramen seasoning. So we want some smoked paprika. We want about a 1/4 cup of that, or about 60 grams of smoked paprika. I would use measuring cups, except I can't find enough at the moment, so we're going to go by weight, which will be fine if we just use the same weight ratios for about everything. So a 1/4 cup is about 60 grams approximately. We're going to do about 1/2 cup of onion flakes, but these are quite large, so we're going to go 60 grams as well of these. Will be around about 1/2 cup. We're going to use about a 1/4 cup of onion powder. Again, we'll just do 60 grams of that one. We're going to put a sort of a solid teaspoon of cracked black pepper in there. We're going to grab some bouillon, which we want around about a cup of. So let's say 200 odd grams. We will see. We'll have a look at how much it... There is some cup measures on the side of this, so we might have a look at that. So it's a pretty heavy powder, so we might do about 120 of that. Will give us around about that, a touch more, 150 maybe, will give us around about that cup mark. I don't know, maybe the 200 would be right from what I was saying. We're going to go 200, which was my first, because that works out to be about a cup worth. All right, so we've got that. And the only other thing I would normally add is a little bit of onion powder, but I don't think I've got any at the moment, and we've got plenty of everything else in there. So we're going to give that a good shake up. And then we have bouillon, but also with that smoked paprika and that little bit of garlic, that little bit of onion extra. I find that this is super tasty compared to having just the bouillon on its own. The kids are perfectly happy to just have the bouillon on its own, mind you, but this extends it a little bit too. So that's what we've got. So we've got the ramen seasoning. So now I will show you how I put them all together, how I put the noodles all together. These are the noodles that I really like. They're just from Coles and Woolworths, and they're a knife cut style noodle, hand pulled style noodle. I prefer these to the round ones. The kids use the round ones happily, and I bought them in bulk for them. But I really like these ones, so I tend to buy these as well. They're inexpensive, $2.80 I think for a 400 gram packet, not very expensive at all. So I boiled some water, put the noodles in the water to boil, and I'm just cooking them. It only takes about 3-4 minutes, depends on how soft you like them. I like mine with a little bit of bite, but still fairly soft. So we're just cooking those off. I've also got a pot lightly simmering with that I can poach an egg in, so I've got that just bubbling. I'm going to swirl it and throw an egg in there. Hard thing to, this is the bagel water sitting in the background, hard thing to do and film all at the same time. So we've got that on just a very light bubble and a swirl in there, noodles in this one. Probably should have waited to put that egg in because these noodles just aren't quite ready. But that egg will be pretty much done. I'm going to turn the heat off on that one because it's all sealed enough that that's fine. And these will have to be done. So I'm going to transfer these to the plate. I like a little bit of the noodle water with them, so I just use a fork or tongs or whatever I have handy. I actually like to boil these in a larger pot. Because I find that they cook better if they're in a bit more water, but there wasn't one clean, and this will do. And I'm hungry. It's like 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm having a very late lunch. Lucky we're only having bagels and chicken and stuff for dinner. All right, now I like to dress mine with a little drizzle of sesame oil, which I then make sure the noodles don't clump together. We're then going to put about a teaspoon of the ramen seasoning over the top, and then we're going to put a nice heaped spoon of the solids, heaped and a half spoon of the solids, and a little bit of the oil over the noodles. We've got a little bit of sweet soy as well. I like to put on mine like that.
Make your famous noodles.
And then I have my poached egg that's probably hard poached now because my timing was a bit off. So normally that would be nice and soft. Well, it's still a little bit soft. So there we go. We have the really simple but super filling ramen using the ramen seasoning and the chili oil, poached egg, and that. So that is how we make the chili oil. That's our choice. As I said, it's very versatile. You can pick your flavors however you want. That's what I add into my ramen seasoning because I like those extra flavors. But again, it's personal preference, and that's how we make our simple ramen. And the kids make this for lunch regularly. So they just cook their noodles up, they poach an egg, they have some chili oil and whatever else they want on it, and that is a meal. And it's a really nice, super simple one. And if we've got chicken, then they use chicken. If we've got pork, they use pork. Whatever we happen to have around, they add to those noodles. And it's a self-serve filling meal that they can have that isn't just a packet of 2-minute noodles. I know that there's still similar concepts to it and still similar good and bad, but I prefer to know what they're eating. So that is our ramen.